What's going on, y'all? Back with the other video, and I'm not gonna be long with this, but I don't know what it is about that early morning drive that just have me so amped up and on go. And then, 6, 7 hours later, I kind of lose it a little bit. So I'm kind of pushing myself. So y'all bear with me because I was really amped up this morning with the message I had. But what I want to talk about in this part of the video is how the narcissists, they have a certain thing from you that they really benefit from. And then there's two things about you that they really can't stand. They really, they care less for you to even bring it up. Don't mention it. Let's keep that part out of it. For fear of how it will make them look for associating with you or for being in a relationship with you. And see, what I mean by that is, we all have our own lives, our own identities. And the narcissists, of course, they don't know what that is. That's why they attach themselves onto us so tightly. It's like they need every bit of us to make up who they want to be. But we went through things in our life, and it's our story to tell. Whether it's like a testimony, it's things that we've done in the past we're not proud of, things that we are proud of, our accomplishments, anything. Just our life story from the past to the present. And when we choose to share those things with anyone, a narcissistic person, the two things that they cannot stand is, that not so squeaky clean image of you, the part about your past that, a lot of people, they may criticize, they may judge you on it, and some won't. It all depends on the person and their mind frame. At one time I was judgmental and looked at things way different from how I look at things now. I'm more open-minded to understand, that it's two ways to look at things. It's many different ways that you can point something out. It all depends on the person who's looking at it. It all depends on the person and how they use their judgment. And I've lived. I can say that I have lived. I've mentioned in past videos on, I think I did like a story time on the time I went to jail. But I told y'all my experience when I went to jail. And didn't tell y'all, why I was arrested. Well, that squeaky, not so squeaky clean image that some of us have from the past. Some of it hunts us in present time, and some it don't. We put it in the past. We paid our debts to society and we moved on with life. And I know I did. Back then I was living again in survival mode, and y'all gonna hear that a lot. You're gonna hear that a lot. But I'm not gonna wear nobody's ears off with this, because if this for you, you feel what I'm saying. And if it's not, I hope that you can get something out of it by me saying survival mode. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. At the same time, I didn't make excuses. I don't make excuses for what I did now as I did then. I was very ignorant in my ways and very immature with my thinking. And so with saying that, I went to jail for writing worthless checks from my bank account, not no one else's bank account. It was from my bank account. My bank account was on the verge of closing. It was almost in the negative. I had lost my job. I was pregnant, and I didn't have any income to rely on during the maternity leave. So what I did was continue to write checks to get by, survival mode, to pay my bills and stuff like that. And it's like, time went by, and I just started listening to certain people saying, oh, don't worry about that. Because I used to worry so much about the consequences. Like, Okay, so I know that it didn't just go away. I know that what I did is going to catch up with me sooner or later. And then I start to listen to people, I let people get in my ear to give me the bad advice of, oh, don't worry about it. They're not going to come on you for that. You don't have to cover those checks. You don't have to worry about that account. It's closed now. Those people not worried about that, stuff like that. Well, eventually it happened and I was arrested for it. And so, yeah. But the thing about it is narcissists, they don't want to hear those stories about you because it makes them, in their crazy twisted mind, it doesn't make them look good to the people who they want to look good to. See, they don't want to hear that part of your life. No. They don't want to hear the part of your life where you struggled. They don't want to hear the part of your life where you didn't look so good as what you're presenting to them now. They just want the part that starts now. They don't want to hear about the past. I've even had a narc tell me when we used to associate, when I would try to open up and talk to her, like, we just having this conversation, talk about, remember the time and stuff that we can look back at and laugh at now. Even that jail time I did, And it was like, she just was like, ugh, just disgusted at the fact that I'm even speaking that way. Why would someone like you talk about jail? Why would you do that? Like, and people work hard for their money. I don't know. As people need their jobs, it's like, didn't that affect the people in the stores? And because I heard that when you do stuff like that, people can lose their jobs because somebody have to account, some way that money has to be accounted for. Like, you, of all people, once you figure out why they're so judgmental, should be the last to judge anyone based on, mistakes that they made in the past, decisions they made in the past, whether it labels them a thief, anything, because you are the biggest thief alive. You are the biggest deception alive. You live the life of a gimmick. You are the gimmick. If you wasn't living through the identity of someone else, you wouldn't have anything to talk about. You wouldn't have a reason to want to peek your head out the door in the morning, So it's like, it's crazy how they are so judgmental, but they are the biggest thieves. They are the biggest thieves that roam the earth, the biggest deceptors. And so people like that, they can't benefit from people who have a story to tell over how they've overcome things from their past. Oh, that can't benefit me, so let's skip that. Talk about something else that just made you seem grand, supreme, things that made you seem like you've accomplished so much, something that I could use, That's what they're thinking. They're not going to tell you that, but when they do speak on, their thoughts of, stuff about you in your past, it's like, it just disgusts them to know that that's a part of your life. So they want to leave that out. Another thing that narcs, they can't benefit from is how you just keep it so real with yourself and with others, because they don't know what it is to tell the truth. It will absolutely burn them to the cross to know that it's like they're stooping down to a level of like they're degrading themselves by your honesty. So it's like, when you are able to point out things that didn't become you, like things that you should be ashamed of, they don't want to hear that part about you. They want you to just like say, well, in other words, they just want you to find excuses for your behavior, for the behaviors that you're not proud of. Like, I used to be just so crazy behind this guy, and we used to associate at work and everything, but I would always want to see him outside of work. I would always, hope that he would want to take me out on a date. So I just got bold. At some point, I got bold enough to just ask him. And it was like, I just, just so stuck in my feelings to the point where I felt like he owed me some time, because he was just a cool guy and I liked him. And it's like when I finally realized, like, he don't owe you anything. If he wasn't interested in you, that's just something that you had to accept and let it go. You have to respect people at the end of the day for their decisions. Narcissists can't stand it because that's not something that they're willing to do. That's not a way that they'll feel. So by you expressing that to them, it's just like, oh, I'm not where I don't think like that. And nah, I'm just not gonna be that dismissive about something like that, because I feel like if we took it to that other level, then we should be in a relationship. And it's not always like that. Especially if you like pursued a situation and you didn't go into it with the full understanding of knowing, look, I'm just cool with being friends. We taking it here because this is something you said you were able to handle. You understand. Some guys are like, I got somebody on the side. Some of them are even married. And you knew that when you went into the situation. But then you got caught up in your emotions and you wanted to just control the fact that it made me feel good. I can kind of see myself being with him in the future. And yeah, I won't, I got myself done. I'm with this. I'm with this and I'm not going to let it go. And you're stuck in your stubborn ways, narcissists, and they just feel like, my way or no way. And it's like when you come to realize later on down the line, I was wrong and I shouldn't have felt that way. I shouldn't have behaved in that way, and you just show a sense of remorse for the situation. They don't want to hear that. It's like, no, there is no apologizing for who I was in the past. If anything, they're going to make excuses after excuses. I was young. I didn't know better, and it's not like he should have wanted to. And I'm like, but that's not the point. The point is he had made himself clear. You were just not trying to hear that. You heard what he was saying, but you thought that you can get over on him and dig yourself into him to the point where your mind control will be, would just pretty much take over the whole situation. And it just didn't work out like that. So you lost out. So now a lot of times they want to get revenge on people who got away, if not most of the time, all the time. Narcissists, that's just one of their main tactics, is to get revenge because they live off power and control. And so those are the two things they can't benefit from people. They don't want to hear anything about things that doesn't make you look good to them so that they can mimic it and, try to live through your life to other people because they are so judgmental. The crazy part about it, which I'll never understand. So they're wondering, are other people going to judge them in that way? So, the narcissists at some point, they start to show you that very immature side of them, that part of them that just doesn't have any growth. It's just like they're stuck in their ways. They're stuck in a very toxic and closed mind frame. Everything is just always one way or the other, black or white. There's never any in between. That's just how it is with narcissists. So that concludes this video. I want to thank y'all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.